chair of the Global Black Caucus.
And I'm Adrienne. I lead our caucus's Get Out the Vote team.
Welcome to the Power to the People podcast.
2025, and we're in our season of opposition.
And we will not obey in advance. Power to the people. Takeover, I think, it's horrifying, but I can understand if people don't want to cancel. I mean, I think it's kind of up to the individual. I would say after a certain point, which is coming very soon, that they won't even be asked. So I don't think this is really going to be a long-term question. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what Donald Trump thinks of as culture. I'm pretty sure it's not anything that anyone normal would think of as culture. I, I don't, I mean, he seems to have um, a lot of repressed taste. I mean, okay, everybody likes the YMCA, or I used to anyway, not anymore. But it's fun to stay in the YMCA, the song.
Yeah,
He
why
really,
I can't dance to that anymore when it's why.
yeah, so I don't know what kind of things he would offer. I think it's going to be very limited simply because I think his taste are not good. Like, I don't think he has like I I mean, I don't know what type of taste this man has. I think he's one of these people in general. I think he's stuck in the 70s. And so I think that the Kennedy Center is a little bit in some ways it's experimental, and in other ways there's a lot of pop artists that go there. There's a lot of different genres that go there, and that I am pretty sure he won't like any of them. Like, I
Well,
don't
it's
think.
America's stage for the art, and it is supported by the people and the government, which is why he can impose himself on the board, but it is not the majority of the spending. I don't know what the future of it holds. Um, for the culture, a love affair with America, quickly, Snoop's 360 on Trump. What do you think about that? Just quickly, we're not going to cover.
can,
I said Snoop don't
can
owe
I
me nothing. He
swear?
gave me gin and juice. I don't know if you can talk about Snoop and not swear, but just
Okay,
to
well then
say
fuck that
that,
motherfucker. That's my
oh,
that's my quick take. He made a whole, I mean, I understand, you know, I understand sometimes people have to do what they do, but he just I don't know why he did that. I don't know, and there's no
okay,
excuse
now
for it
let's,
because
okay.
in 20, I don't know, whenever it was, he was like, who's going to perform for him? Blah blah blah, you know. Wait, I can't hear you.
If you can find it, this is on YouTube, Mono Neon, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg goes off on Trump. This is November
Yeah.
22nd, 2017, for example. So let's compare that with, I don't know if you've seen it. I know you've heard about it. Kendrick Lamar's performance at the Super Bowl in front of this president who spent, I think, $10 to $20 million on extra security to come and not even stay the whole time, which is why no other American president has gone to the Super Bowl, because who wants to spend $10 to $20 just for extra security? But
Yeah, I
Kendrick said,
know.
you picked the right time with the wrong man. Lots of layers. He gave that unapologetically revolutionary, it will be televised performance in front of Trump and white America, 300 something million people. Some woke white Americans got it. They've been breaking it down on social media if you want to see it. The American flag divided, the flag on our backs. We built the country. You want us dead. Uncle Sam, this is a game, not just the Super Bowl. It was set up like a Nintendo. People talking about it was like, was it like not the Hunger Games, Squid Game? All of those messages. So unapologetically black. We got somebody Snoop unapologetically black until he was up there in inauguration, right? We love him with Martha. We love him with everything, right? You know, like I said, he gave me gin and juice. I don't need nothing else. But he continued to be able to reinvent himself at the Olympics, you know.
Wow.
I was like, Snoop is everywhere. My girlfriend was like, ooh, he's like a mascot. Made her uncomfortable. I was like, Snoop, get your money. Now, I don't know how much money he got to perform at the inauguration. I didn't mean perform at the inauguration when I said, Snoop, get your money. But I loved you in the
Yeah,
Olympics.
well, um,
I love NBC paying you. I loved you. Clearly High, Stones. You held the Olympic torch. And probably off camera you lit a blunt, right? But you off the torch. But you held the Olympic torch, Snoop. Icon. How many people? Muhammad Ali held the Olympic torch, and you. And then you're there. I think doing my song, Gin and Juice, right? My song, the
well,
one that I will always love you for. Thank you for giving the world Gin and Juice. You didn't have to play it
well,
that night though.
I have taken out of any playlist that I have, I've taken him out of them. I'm not even giving him a penny from playing a song, even accidentally. So I've taken them all out of my playlist. So
So you know
um
what? So you got all the Kendrick Lamar Pulitzer Prize winning Kendrick Lamar, which is like talk about receipts. Pulitzer Prize. You up there with
yeah.
Alice Walker, baby, winning Pulitzer prizes, quoting Alice Walker in your song, by the way. So
Yes,
and that
this
is a tradition in the African American culture where we quote our, you know, Maya Angelou. I know why Cage Bird sings. That goes back to an earlier poem. Um, why does a cage bird sing? Why does a cage bird? Who wrote that? It was a brother who wrote that. But from the Harlem Renaissance. Maya Angelou pulled in the Harlem Renaissance. Kendrick Lamar is pulling in Alice Walker, and we got Snoop talking about gin and juice at the inauguration. But so for the culture, love America. Kendrick Lamar, we love America. He's up there with the American flag. All his dances are red, white, and blue. We love America. Do you
mm,
really think the revolution's going to be televised? Gil Scott, see, in Ancestry, right? He pulled on Gil Scott,
yeah,
that beautiful man who died too soon. We could do a whole episode about Gil Scott
yeah.
his
But
his
this time
poetry.
the revolution will be televised. So I just want to tell everybody, I know it doesn't seem like it makes a difference, but you need to write and call your senators and your representatives. You really need to do that. And if you don't, you can't somehow bring yourself to send an email to your senators, then maybe tell your family members about what's going on and get there, make sure they understand that this is a coup. They are taking over our government, destroying it, and the next thing will become they will start to destroy our way of life. Um, I there's a few people that you can look up. Maybe I'll give you some links, Adrian, to put in the show notes about this because there's like this guy, Curtis Yarvin. He's a guy that used to be a blogger that now fancies himself as a philosopher. But he's just one of these like loser incel tech bros that people think has some good ideas, and he's against democracy, and he's for monarchy or neo monarchy, which means just that rich people take over, billionaires take over. And Elon Musk and JD Vance and also Peter Thiel, they like, they all subscribe to this philosophy. So you've got to educate yourself about these people so that you understand what's going on and none of this
Now
is
let me ask
normal.
you this. Okay, the call to action. I know one quick easy tool is fivecalls.org. What is that? Okay, you're calling a senator. What do people say?
Well,
You're calling your representative, even if you voted for them or did not. You represent my state, my city, my state. You represent my state at the
okay.
federal level. What do we want people to say?
It depends, and this will be I'll give you this link to all this stuff if you put it in the show notes. But if you're calling a Democrat, you want to make sure you tell them you don't approve of the things that are being done. okay? And that you want them to fight the Republicans and Donald Trump, and that you support their efforts and thank them.
And if
Like
they
we have to,
say, and you can say, you can pick an issue, or you could just say everything, say everything, or you could pick an issue, right? Because some
yeah,
people
pick
just
an
feel
issue.
so overwhelmed. So you do you advise people to pick an issue? What's really keeping you up at
Well,
night?
what I would so whatever it is, the fact that they've stolen all our names and social security numbers and bank accounts, that's our privacy. That is concerning. The fact that they're firing people, the fact that so many things are happening, the fact that Trump keeps breaking all these laws and regulations. Um, oh, the other thing that you can call for is to tell them to impeach Trump and Vance, both of them, because they both got to go. Um, but if you're talking to a Republican, like all my rep and my senators, they're all Republican. So you have to use a little bit of a different tactic. Yes, we want Elon Musk gone. Okay, that's number one. Oh, that's also if for Democrats too. We want Elon Musk gone. You know, he's a illegal immigrant that's taken over our government, and he needs to be deported as quickly as human. Has his
We want to see
citizenship
the
revoked
ICE
and
raid
deported.
on the door. We want to see the ICE raid on the door or where he works. But
That's
also,
right.
if you're calling your Republicans, tell them personal stories about how people are getting hurt or being hurt by
No,
these policies.
no, do not
No, don't
tell
tell
them
them.
how people are being hurt. They couldn't care less.
No,
The
but see,
no,
I'm
what
thinking that
no,
that's what they
no,
do.
no, what you want to tell them is how you feel this is going to hurt the economy. Number one, and number two, how you feel like Donald Trump and Elon Musk are usurping the authority of the second branch of government, and that
Okay, wait a
they're
second. I just have to say that's a newsflash, people. If you didn't get it, any Republicans, did you just hear? They don't care about how you're doing. Did you just hear that? Don't
no,
tell
they
them the
don't care.
story about how you're being hurt. Your party doesn't care about you people. So Andrew, I just had to say that for the people in the back. You can continue to tell them like pain points, economy. They don't care. Now maybe do I say, okay, the economy, you're gonna hurt the economy. I already can't afford eggs. And I lost my job because they fired the
Or
federal
no,
people.
no, don't even make it. Oh, also, please don't tell any Republican what party you're affiliated with or how you voted. That is unnecessary. Do not say that. But do say, I feel like this is hurting my community economically, and that these changes, if they continue, I don't know if there'll be any more economic investment in my community or in our state or in our city. They're concerned about the economy, allegedly, so we'll find out. But also the fact that you're concerned about their power in the legislative branch being usurped, and that you think that what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing are wrong. And definitely you have to include something about getting rid of Musk. I mean, that is our biggest job,
So
is
wait
to
a
get
second,
rid
a
of
little bit of
Musk.
psychology. Do you say you're losing your power? Like
Yes,
your power is
yes,
being taken away.
that's right. They
That's an
don't
ego
care.
or like a,
Yeah,
but they know that. But if we remind them of that, or they don't
but
see it that way,
that maybe they're not looking at it that way right now, but if enough people say it to them, you know what I'm saying? Like if enough people told you, like, oh, you need a nose job. I mean, I'm not saying anybody needs a nose job, but if enough people said it to you, if you had like 80 people call you up and tell you you needed a nose job, whether you like it or not, you would look in the mirror and look at your nose and be like, does that need to be fixed? You see, we have to play them. That is because they don't care about us. They don't care about our well-being. They don't care about hurting people.
all
They're
I
not
want to say is
interested in
that
it.
they don't really care about us.
About
What
us.
did
That's
Michael
right.
say?
That's right. They
All
don't
I want to
care.
say is that
But
they
you
don't
have
really
to
care
use the
about us.
things they care about themselves and their power. Okay? They care about themselves. And they also care about making money. And if all of a sudden there's no way for their state to make money, they won't be happy about that, and they'll definitely lose the election for sure. So you gotta get them where it matters.
Okay, Angela, tell me and everybody, why should Black people still maintain our love affair with the United States of America?
Because that's where we come from. That's why. And we have just as much right to live in the United States and be in the United States and whatever else. Our ancestors and maybe our current family members have been in the military. We've or perhaps they've done something remarkable or not. It doesn't even matter. It's our country just as much as it is a bunch of crazy people who think that America was some kind of a white paradise, and it never was. It's our country too. And so if we don't care, they're just going to run all over us. And I'm not down for that. That's dumb. My ancestors and your ancestors, Adrian, and other people's, actually almost all, whatever your race, whatever your ethnicity, almost all of our families have fought for something or another in this country for rights. And it's not just people of color or women, that white people had to fight too for rights. And so when you sit by and you don't do anything, what you're saying is that everyone before me, all the things that they had to do, to whether they fought for union rights, whether they fought for the right to vote, whether they fought for education, whether they fought for the right for same-sex marriage, whether they
Disabled
fought for.
access for disabled people into
That's right.
buildings.
That's right. Especially for disabled people. I saw this little documentary, and it was the craziest thing that I've ever seen. It was like, I did not know this, that back, let's say, mid 19th century, early 20th century, that there were laws for disabled people that if you looked too weird, you couldn't come out of your house. You couldn't be seen. And
That was
this
a
was in
national law,
these were laws. No, these were state laws, but they
state
were
by
all
state. Oh
but they
my
were all
God.
over the place. So that if you say you had like some kind of a disability where even if it was just like your arm was crooked or something like that, you couldn't be seen. You weren't allowed to come out of your house. So people that were disabled fought for their rights. Veterans have fought for their rights. After World War One, veterans were promised all this stuff. And if you recall that after World War One, there was, or before World War, yeah, it was World War One, that they had all these, it happened after the Depression started, and that they had all these veterans encampments because they were like, we want our money. And you promised us all these, if we fought this war, then we would get all this stuff. And this was
People,
a big
that's
struggle.
DEI. That's
Yes,
DEI
it's
people.
all DEI. And the thing
DEI
is,
is people fought for DEI. It's not
yeah,
as if the government was like, oh, we've been unfair since our inception. Let's autocorrect. No, people fought for DEI. Those are veterans, right?
yes,
People with physical and mental disabilities.
yes. Yes, I mean,
So
they
I
used
know we
to
have a DEI episode
sterilize
coming up.
people
Oh
because they
gosh.
were,
See,
you
that
know,
sounds like Germany. That sounds like
no,
Germany, but
no,
we
it's
did it
it's
here.
America. In America, the eugenics movement is from the United States. When the time of Hitler was, they sent some envoys to the United States to study how we oppressed minority groups in the United States.
There again, us leading the world, just not
Yes.
down the right path.
So everybody needs to get their head on straight, or as Malcolm Nance said, we need to get what is your resistance posture? And you need to figure that out quick. But while you're doing that, please write somebody, put out a post on Facebook to let people know, email your friends and family and say, do you know what's going on? And we need to do something about it. This isn't a test. It isn't a drill. This is this is every freaking dystopian nightmare like film or book you've ever read. Like it's all here, including this nonsense about going to Mars. I wish they could all go to Mars, but they can't. Yeah, Musk wants, he's obsessed with going to Mars. I mean, in a certain way, I'd like to go to Mars too, but just not with his ass. I would like,
Is
I
that
mean,
why he had 13 children so he can colonize Mars with his 13
well,
children?
no,
They're
he
about
is
mates. And
that the reason that he has so many children is because it's a eugenics reason, because he wants to increase allegedly the number of white people and also the level of intelligence or whatever, but I'm
is
pretty
it
sure
true that they're all artificially inseminated or 13 women have sex with him?
13 women did not have sex with him.
Can
I'm
you
pretty sure they did
imagine?
not.
Ew, no, we don't
No,
want to eat.
no, I
No.
couldn't imagine that at all. I could imagine laughing in his face and rejecting him, but I could not imagine having sex with him. That would be, even if he gave me $1 million, it'd be a hard pass.
That would
Um,
be the most indecent proposal. Remember that
yeah,
movie?
I do.
But let me ask you this. So how, in addition to resisting, that's how African Americans around the world need to show our love for our country. Our country's in crisis. Just like our country has cancer. You don't, divorce your partner because they're sick. So we have to take on that. Or do you? You shrug your
No,
shoulders.
I just, I don't know if that's the right
You go.
analogy.
Well, we know America's sick. Mentally, it always has to, it's sick. We know
But
America is mental health.
if we don't,
If America was a person, we need therapy as a
if
nation. But
America was a person, we should trap them, lock them up, and deprogram them. But we can't do that. So we have
put
to
down your
fight
dart
all these
gun. Put
things.
your dart gun down. I know.
Yeah.
Put your dart gun down. Take out the tranquilizer dart. You're like, got the net. Got the big net.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what we would do is just like, oh, put out some little crumbs or something to lure them in and then, you know,
Some
trap
fast
them
food.
down.
Put some fast food out.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Um,
that's true. The
some
only problem
Netflix.
is that I'm pretty sure Donald Trump couldn't bend over to pick it up. So that's
We had to put it in waist time. Put it in
yeah.
waist time. A little table. Oh, well, oh,
Yeah.
what's this? A Whopper on one table, the next one a Big Mac. What? What's going to be next? Right?
Yeah,
Arby's. Fries with
exactly.
beef.
Exactly. That would definitely get him. But I mean, really, everybody has to stand up. There's no one coming to save us.
Angela, just a fake invite from Putin to something, and he'll go. But
Oh
and
my
we want
God.
everybody to be
Oh my
here
God.
to be part of America. We don't want the anybody to leave because America is not. It's not like you have to escape, right? We're not leaving. You can't tell us to go anywhere because we're already where we can go up here,
Yeah, but
right?
you need to get organized and start doing things. Get involved with your local, like Indivisible or whatever. There's a lot of groups that are forming. Get
Oh,
involved with
Angela,
these
do you
people.
know about? I do know there's Indivisible in Europe. Do we know if Indivisibles in other regions for our global listeners? Or if not, Google, like you say, how can people
Well,
go about that, finding like-minded
well,
organizations?
you can always get involved if you're outside the United States. You can always get involved with Democrats Abroad. Go to democratsabroad.org/join. We have country committees in 48 countries. And even if you don't have a country committee there, you can still group up with the people that are there because there are Americans everywhere, including Antarctica. Um, so wherever
Everywhere,
Iceland,
everywhere. But also, if you're, say, you're in a big country and they're Americans there, they're not in your city. We've got so many global events that all you need is an internet connection and you can be in community. The
yes.
Global Black Caucus has a cafe. Tell us about the
We
cafe.
have our GBC Cafe there on the website at Democrats Abroad slash BC_events. And you can find our events. We've got a GBC Cafe scheduled for every month this year. Just RSVP, receive the Zoom link, and join, and
What
then
happens
get
in
to
the
know some
cafe?
people. We talk about current events. We talk about things we can do to fight back. We just form communities so people can talk about how they feel, because a lot of people outside the country, like not everybody lives in a place where there's a ton of other Americans. There's people that live in places that maybe they're the only American for, like, 100 miles or something like that. It just really depends. Or just because there might be other Americans around doesn't mean you know them,
Or
like,
that
so
you're the kind of person that you're
yeah,
like-minded.
that's
But
right.
this
But
community is for us, by us, but it's also for our allies, right?
that's right.
And
That's
the
right.
Black
It's for
Caucus.
everybody. It's for everybody. The Black Caucus is it's a name. Like, it's not a
But
requirement.
don't
You
get
don't
it
have to be
twisted.
black.
It's for us, by us. We ain't gonna have some white chair of the Global Black Caucus, so
No,
don't
okay,
mistake it.
that's never going to
But
happen. But
okay,
yeah,
we do have white
I'm as
members on our steering committee because allies are
I'm
everything. You can't change, right? You can't push the needle forward without everybody on board, right? So we're driving things with input and acts of what from our allies, right? We've got people. Our original steering committee from 70 or plus to how old was the youngest person? I'm not sure if we had all the generations covered. I know locally, my youngest Black Caucus member was teenager, hadn't
yeah,
gone to
we
college
have
yet.
people from all ages,
Mm-hmm.
all ages. So don't feel like you can't be involved. Um, but whatever you do, you gotta let people know what's going on, and let them know that this isn't okay. And contact your reps, as I've said multiple times earlier, and attend some of these marches. There's going to be a big
Angela,
International
share us
Women's
a
Day
little
march.
bit. Yeah, there was something big at the state capitals on President's Day
Yep.
as well. So let's do a little bit of scare, a little bit more scare, and then leave on some hope. Why should Black people, this country we love, why should we be afraid for it now? Our big love, why should we be afraid? In other words, what's
Because
the worst thing that could happen to us? Will we be back in change or are we exaggerating? What's the worst case scenario for us? What did Malcolm Nance
um
say? What do all the experts say? People don't
well,
believe it. We see these things being eroded, but for Black people, seriously, what could happen to us?
well, there's a lot of things that could happen. Um we could all be, yes, back enslaved, or we could be indentured, or we could just be left to starve and die. I mean, that's like a favorite thing for white people to try to, think they somehow think that black people will be the ones that won't make it, but it's not true. Um, we could, I mean, they might start sending us to these camps. They might just flat out start killing us. I mean, like,
Well, we
not
know they're
not
taking
like
people's jobs.
regular, not like regular, just how they kill us randomly, but purposely. But if you in this document that we're going to put in the show notes, there's a bunch of documentaries that I have in there, and it kind of explains what happened in Nazi Germany, which people are always, I hear people saying things like, "Oh, this Mark Twain quote, history sometimes it's what is it? It sometimes rhymes, but it's not rhyming. It's just repeating. It's not like it's difficult to see where this is going." Um, or people, you hear people on the news say something similar happened, and I'm like, no, yeah, it's only similar in the fact that it was exactly the same thing, like, that's exact same things are happening. So we need to, everybody, wake up, take
So let me
action.
ask you this. We do know, for example, out of the federal workers that were forced out, a lot of them were African American. What about the African Americans that are already underemployed, already have pain points, didn't vote? don't think that anything matters, has been in generations of poverty, have never been part of the American dream. What's going to change for them?
Well, I'm sorry. What the fuck is the American dream? I mean, it's the American dream. That's not anything real. Like that's just we're all here on this planet, and if you think things are bad now, um, just
They
don't
will be
do
the first
anything.
ones to tell you what is the American dream. They would be the first ones to ask you what is it. It's a myth, and we were never part of the
It
myth. You know,
it's
the
well,
myth actually depended on us being in the position that we're in to
it's
be
an
king.
ideal, okay? It's not real because for almost two, well, I think we're almost at 250 now, coming up sometime this year, ironically. I'm sure that uh the president will make a whole lot of bullshit, make it some elaborate ceremony or whatever, but he don't believe in that either. He just likes the idea of being the figurehead on his you know, fascist regime. But everybody, it doesn't matter that the American dream isn't real. Our lives are real. Our lives are real. Our hopes are real. Our actions are real. And so we cannot let people like make us apathetic because our lives haven't worked out the way they wanted to. You know, I have to say I've had a really good life, and I'm not saying that as a flex, but my life has not worked out the way I wanted it to. It's not just people who are impoverished or suffering that their lives, that the American dream hasn't been what they thought it would be. My life hasn't worked out exactly the way I wanted it to be. There's so many, I don't have any regrets, but well, I have one small regret, which I won't tell because it's involves something that's slightly illegal. Um, but but it's not a real regret. It's not a real regret. So, what if your life didn't work out the way? So, does that mean that you just give up, or that it's the end, or we have to keep we because what if the future could be better?
The
And
reason I
so,
ask because for the people who don't see a future, some people are hopeless. I'm hearing from some people that this is just so much. The chaos attack is working for a lot of people, and especially because we're coming out of a pandemic, we have a mental health crisis. So some people may think, well, this is just it. This is what they said, the end of days, the doom, and this is just
none
too
of that
much.
is real. Because if it was, I'm going to tell you what, okay? If it was real, and I'm sorry if I'm making any Christian people uncomfortable, if it was real, then all of the Christians in the world would recognize that Donald J. Trump is the freaking Antichrist. Read your books. If you read your books and not just let people tell you what the Bible is saying, then you would know that he is it. He's the Antichrist. For real, for real, for real. But the
But go
but
back and listen to the message from the bishop um, at the National Cathedral during the service during that inauguration weekend. Go
mhm.
back and listen to that bishop who was brave enough in front of the world to say, President Trump, be kind. People are scared about
Yeah,
what
but
you're going to do. And then what did he do? Ignored her, said she's a bad person, and went
yeah,
and
and said this the service was boring, and I'm just like, it's church. Like, come on. When
and it
they were
was
all
not
sitting
the
there,
black church. And it wasn't the black church because black church ain't ever boring. But I get what you're saying. He's like, it's boring. How immature. Sounded
yeah,
like a
like
kid.
yeah, exactly. Like he doesn't, again, more like the Antichrist. So just because things didn't work out doesn't mean we have to give up. I mean, that's what they want. And that's what they want. They want us to give up, but we're not going to give up. So, you know, let's all go out
We're not going to
and
give up. Okay, so now, so that was the bad part because I wanted people to realize this is serious. We can have a lot of fun on this podcast and we can talk about a lot of things, and a lot of things can be, we want to present as much information and ask you and give you the resources for you to do your own. You're not supposed to accept anything we say as face value. 99% of it is our opinion. The 1% fact is enough to get us through the podcast, right? And for you to do your own research and do the actions that we
Wait,
recommend that you
wait,
do.
stop. Hold on, hold on. I'm spitting facts
Okay,
here. I don't know what you're
I'm seeing the way when I say opinion because
like.
we, come
90%
on,
of
the
everything I
name
have is facts.
calling. Well, the name calling, is that a fact? Or
Yes.
the okay, so Angela is 99% fact and
No, I
1%
said
shit talking.
90% and then 10%
90.
my
Okay.
opinion. That's right. I'm sorry.
Okay, I give a
It's
lot of feelings. I give
yeah,
opinions. And if I do say something, but I ask you to fact check things. When I say you, I mean dear listener. Like, is Elon Musk really an illegal immigrant? Because if that's true, how is he not being rounded up by the ICE people? Stuff like that. I don't know if, or did he get a chance to get it fixed? He doesn't still have
yes, he
real.
was he came here illegally and then he got it fixed by getting a job and then he became a citizen. But those are the same types of people that Trump wants to deport when they're Hispanic or whatever. So it's
Okay.
the same thing. He can go back to South Africa and do whatever he wants there. As far as I'm concerned, he should be on the first thing smoking. I mean,
Well, because it seems as if there's no room for looking at people, just like the whole this is the DACA bill that President Obama got passed for the children of people who may not have come in documented. I don't like the term illegal immigrant because nobody's illegal, so maybe undocumented or whatever. Like
yes.
illegal just means like you don't have the right to exist, like you're. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I know what you're saying.
undocumented. And I know you get it, but because I use the term the same way, I have to stop saying black or stop saying race because we know it's human
Well, I
and all of
said
that. It's
illegal because it's Musk.
well, and it's definitely illegitimate. There's nothing right about his. Why did he just do all this in South Africa? South Africa should be. Why didn't he do all of it there?
Um,
Why infect our country? Because that's America. Everybody wants to come to America. So just like the people that come in different ways, they wanted to come to America for the same reason you did, and every other wife that Trump had, other than Marla Maples, sorry. Just like every other wife Trump had, they wanted to come to America because every other person that we call an illegal immigrant, just like Elon, wanted to come to America because you can be whatever you want to be in America, do whatever you want to do, right?
yes.
Make this country um, live the promise of the Declaration of Independence, right? We're all supposed to be created equal here. People come here because they're not equal in their countries.
Yeah, that is
So,
true. But what's positive? The positive is that together we can make a change. We can make a difference, but we have to work in concert with each other, act together, and
Angela,
stand
do
together.
examples of how that has worked in America. When we, the United States of America, when we work together, tell us some of the things we've gotten done. It's pretty much everything they're
Um,
trying to undo, but what have we gotten done when we work together?
let's see. We ended slavery. We gave women rights. We gave had yeah, we had women's rights, we have unions, we got rid of child labor, we got
Segregation.
segregation, we got the weekends from unions, we got 40-hour work week. We were able to um defeat a lot of diseases such as polio by all
Mandate
working together.
education for kids.
Education, that's right. People didn't have, there weren't public schools. Honestly, there weren't public schools until after the Civil War. And a lot of those were created specifically by Black people. We got rights for LGBTQ people. We got more veterans' rights. We got Social Security. We had Medicare. We had Medicaid.
We brought awareness
We've
to mental health.
We have had any number of things that, like, we're not a bad country. We just occasionally give over our power to bad people and they do bad shit. And this is one of the times. And now we have to stop them. There's nothing more pressing. Like, everybody thinks that that each individual thing that Trump is doing is somehow pressing. It's not the individual acts are terrible, but it's the whole. And we have to fight for our rights to maintain what we have and then to go further. We can't, no more waiting around. We have to do something, and it's up to all of us to do it. And we
And
can do it.
because we have a long track record of success, all the things that Angela just listed, all of those social movements, we have a long history of success. There was no reason to think that we cannot continue to be successful. We have so much, not only to try to maintain and make things sure things don't get rolled back, but we still have gun rights that we're fighting for so that our children can go to school and be safe. So there are lots of unfinished business and things. So be hopeful, be joyful in the fact that we've got all these successes, this community, no matter where you are. If you can hear this podcast, you can join Democrats Abroad and be part of a global community of Americans. You can find allies where you are. But we do want to stress that you be safe, because as we do know that you may be in a hostile environment. So be safe. Malcolm Nance gave the call to resist. Resist in a way that you can do it safely.
Yes.
Always, remember that your voice is your vote, is your power. There are elections this year. Who should be
That's right.
making sure something's happening, deadline April 1st?
Yeah, if you vote in Wisconsin, if you vote in Florida District 1 or Florida District 6, please be sure to, if you're overseas, go to votefromabroad.org and request an absentee ballot. If you're in the United States, make sure you're registered at iwillvote.com. There are also state elections in Virginia and New Jersey, and we need to make Virginia blue again, and we need to hang on to New Jersey. So just vote. I mean, I don't know. If nothing about 2024 tells you voting's really important because bullshit happens when you don't vote. These crazy people get in hand. I don't know what to tell you, but please, these are very important elections.
So now
So
this is when
please vote.
this is when you have to pay very, very close attention to what's happening in your state. 2024, the main focus was on the national elections, but now, because your state's your first line of defense, if you've got a mayoral election, there are a lot of mayoral elections going on. Your mayor is your first line of defense in your city, right? They can they can do $15 minimum wage for city employees. Mayors are doing that. They can do free lunches in schools, right? Mayors are doing that. They can do the health, to make sure you have health, parental leave, family leave, sick leave. Mayors can do that for your city. It spreads to your state, then it can spread state by state. So these local elections, no matter how disheartened you may feel by the results of the 2024 elections, this is your chance. Maybe this is you weren't able to vote in 2024, right? Because you didn't make the age requirement. What's the age requirement to vote? So if you turn
If you
18 this year,
turn
it's going to be state by
if you
state,
turn
right?
18 by November, whatever the election date is. Sorry, I don't know it
Mm-hmm.
off the top of my
So you can
head,
be a
but
first time voter in 2025. You missed the
that's right.
biggie in 2024. You can get the big one in your state, right? Or
That's
your
right.
city in
Everyone
2025.
should
So
vote if they have the opportunity to, whether it's in your city elections or state elections or special elections like these two. So,
So
okay.
feeling overwhelmed, wonder what you can do. If you live in one of these states with an election could come out, you can vote, you can register to vote, you can encourage other people to vote, and you can say, I'm voting because I'm scared of what's going on nationally and I want my state to be safe.
Yeah,
So
if
you
you
can
don't
come up.
vote, it's going to get scarier. So just come on and vote. Stop messing around. All this nonsense that people are like, both parties are the same. Well, they're not. So I think we can see that clearly now. Like, it doesn't, yeah.
I
But
can see clearly now the vote
okay.
have been cast, right?
Yeah,
They're
that's
trying to
right.
take us back to our past. We're not doing that. So,
We're not
Angela,
going
thank
back.
you. We're
You're
not
welcome.
going back. We're not going back. That is still true. But you know what? We are going back. And that's the thing. We've got to stop, put the brakes on now. They're pulling
Well,
Black education. We're going back. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. You're in Germany. Lots of military bases there. Those military
mhm.
kids can't get the education, the complete story now, right? They pull that from those military schools. Black history gone. So so it's up to the community, right? It's up to the people to be like, okay, it's not in the book, just like we've always been doing. When have our textbooks ever given us the true story? So it's up to our communities. People wonder, what can I do? Start a book club. Start a kids book club. We know they're attacking, the
Hey,
reading list, the banned
start a
book
book
list.
club, but tell your children what is going on. Like, don't
Give
hold
them
it.
books,
Don't.
read with them, and say, listen, I'm making sure you read this because they don't want you to read this in school anymore. The government is banning books. Start with that little history lesson like that. And say, so what are we going to do? We're going to read everything they don't want us to read, right? Have that with your kids. Make them have a healthy respect or cynicism for the government. So if the government is making these decisions, talk to them about what are these decisions? How do they impact us? Let's read about it. There's lots you can do. We love America. We always
Yeah,
have. We
yeah,
want
we
her to
love
do better.
America. And yeah, I mean, we were on the right path for a while, and now we're just slipping down the sinkhole again. But we're not going to let that happen because the whole world, whether people realize it or not, kind of depends on the United States. And that's not some kind of like, I'm not saying that as like an empire. I just mean that we spend more than everyone else, we do more, and without the United States, how can I put this? When the Roman Empire fell, we went into what many historians don't like to be called the Dark Ages, but it was dark because there wasn't there wasn't this overarching society to hold things together, to hold commerce, information, uh,
Let me
whatever
say
together.
something. Let me say something. The good news is that while Europe was in the Dark Ages, Africa was thriving. Uh, so we weren't. So we got the culture. We can do it. And I was trying to fill up Captain America. We know we got a brother that's playing Captain America now in Marvel. It's doing really, really well at the box office. To me, that's a high note to live on. Not only do we love America, we're literally defending it. We've done it on the battle line. Captain. So here's the weird duality about America. They hate black people, but they finally gave us a black Captain America, and it's doing well at the box office. So to me, that's saying something.
Well,
We are the
yeah,
heroes of our time, you all. So it's time to step up, be heroic. We hope we've given you enough tools and inspiration. We'll see you next. What? How often do we come out a week? We'll see you
once a
next
week.
week.
See you next week,
Monthly?
everybody. And
Yep,
stay
weekly.
strong and all power to the people.
Power to the people. I don't even know if that's a song, but power to the people.
It it is. Bye,
It is.
everybody.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, because something resonated with you, you learned something, or you want to take action.
Stay in touch with the Global Black Caucus. Our link trees in the show notes. And always remember, power to the people.